Nice.
There you go. Wow, you can't.
Technology, Papa, doesn't work with you. We're here saying good evening, welcome, happy Sunday, and guess what? We're
both
on mute. On mute. How is everybody doing today? Happy belated Thanksgiving. We hope you all had a great time with your family, your friends, and you ate a lot. You filled up those bellies. I know I did.
What'd you eat?
A whole lot of stuff.
Like what? I heard there was a lot of desserts.
There were amazing desserts done by, prepared by Mari. We said that on Friday. Mari really outdid herself with all her deliciousness. But we had pumpkin pie, we had tembleque, we had flan de calabaza, we had flan, the regular vanilla flan. And what else? What else did we have? Oh, we had a tres leche cake.
Like, where was I? Honestly, where was
You were home with your mama. You were home celebrating Thanksgiving with your mom. What did you have? I want some of that strawberry shortcake. You say you had 2 strawberry shortcakes, and I'm still waiting. I just remembered. I just remembered.
So sorry.
Yeah. Fairy tales and lies.
Yes,
That's fairy tales and lies.
Yeah, we got that.
Fairy tales and lies.
There we go.
Yep, fairy tales and lies. Yep. Can we expand the video, or is it expandable?
It can.
But then it hides the comments.
Correct.
Oh,
Did we not discuss this last week?
If we did, the vieja got to me, and I don't remember.
Oh, not even Friday.
Okay. So it wasn't last week. So yes, the vieja. The vieja.
It was the impromptu.
Who's joining us tonight? I see that I'm on IG. I have on IG. We have keep it wavy. We have Mig Rock, my brother. Welcome back from your vacay. I hope you had a great time on that cruise. Thank you. We have Betty Rose. Happy Sunday, Betty. Daisy Duque is on. We also have Green Eyes. And Mad for Kayla. Hi, Maddie. Miss you all. Hope all is well. Your cousin, is that your cousin? Liana joined?
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Okay. I'm hearing an echo. Is someone who's doing that? Is that you?
It is.
Come on,
me.
what's going on? Your technology skills tonight are like funky.
I am a total hot mess, bro.
Okay, you're a total hot mess.
Total.
Okay, well, I got on my shirt, specially made by Jacqueline's Chalks Creations? Chalk Studio, my bad. Jacqueline's Chalk Studio. And in the bottom, you know what it says? Never forget how far you have come. So even though you're a hot mess today, just never forget that. And you're already blushing. I don't understand.
Bro,
¿Qué es lo que pasa?
I'm hot. It's been.
Are you a hot mess again?
Yeah.
We're going through this again.
Yeah.
We got everything like set up good now.
No, it's just the topic of conversation today.
Oof.
So.
It sounds like it's going to be serious. So talk to us. FB, I don't see, we have 4 people live, but I cannot see the comments. So if you are commenting on FB, our apologies. We can't see them.
They might not be commenting. They don't
I just said if. I don't want to be rude. So we're here tonight, and our topic tonight is depression. Nelson is going to speak on his personal experience, and I'm going to touch on mental health during the COVID pandemic, which unfortunately, we get that little whiff that, everything is going great. And I don't say great. What I mean by that is everything is we're getting back to some type of normalcy. And then there's a setback. Now we have I don't even want to call it by the name. It's B.1.1529.
What's it called? Omicron or something? Like
Omicron. Yeah, it's coming out of South Africa.
Super mega producer. I have a little complaint with the IG.
No, it's not IG. I see all my comments on IG. I'm not
talking
seeing
about the aspect of it. He's got me like cut off. Like really? Like,
oh, he wants to be on. He wants you to angle the camera more towards his direction. I don't know why.
Full frontal.
Oh, that sounds personal. That sounds. I don't know what you're trying to show full frontal, but that's personal.
He wants to cut you
I'm trying. I've never.
He ain't gonna cut me off. He can never cut me off.
I'm trying to show the shirt,
Papa, he's stuck with me.
I'm trying to show the shirt.
I like this point. I'm gonna have to turn it to him. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Or you could just back it up a little bit.
Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Ooh,
Just
back it
a
up.
bit.
That's what he said. Back it up.
Just
Ooh,
a
pause.
Oh.
Y'all not centered. Mig Rock said y'all not centered. So it's the IG camera.
The IG
and we're not centered.
The
So
IG
he's
will not be centered. The Facebook Live is centered.
okay. Meg, Facebook Live, we're centered. We're going to be half centered on IG
It's okay.
because we have to look at our beautiful display in front of us.
Also, what we needed to do was.
Oh, it's better. He said it's better. Thanks. You wants to sparkle. He wants to sparkle.
Who was that? Oh my
Your cousin.
God.
Your cousin. Leo Moon, thank you for joining us. One Sweet Josie, thank you.
Brenda,
Thank you.
Brenda, you got jokes.
Ooh, who's Brenda?
Brenda's Leanne, my cousin.
Leanne. Brenda's Leanne. Can we? Oh, so Leanne on IG.
You got to understand that people have all these made up names on all these social medias. and
Leanne is her stage name or her ego name
That's
or
her witness protection program name, whatever it is. So it's just a matter.
that's
of...
when she doesn't want to deal with a Tati Quieto, that she be like, my name is Leanne. Her alias, got you.
Her pseudo name or whatever, for whatever reason.
Got you.
It is. See, all day.
All right. Again, I don't see any comments on Facebook, so I'm not sure if anybody. I see we have 5 people that are watching us on Facebook, but
It went to 7.
it went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but
It went to 7.
okay, the producer. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG. Tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG. Tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook. But on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook. But on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook. But on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook. But on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us on Facebook, but on IG, tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us. Tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us. Does it sound clear? Tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us. Does it sound clear? Tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. That are watching us. Does it sound clear? Tell us about your Thanksgiving. It went to 7. Yeah, it went to 7. We're doing something. Can you? Okay, okay. So yes, our friends and family and supporters on IG, just give us a short little minute here.
It is unmuted.
We're working on some technical difficulties with
That was
Facebook.
good?
Oh, we're perfect. How do we sound now on Facebook? Now we don't have our screen on Facebook.
Okay. Take it
Hey,
easy,
I
buddy.
have my brother Mike's joints.
Take it easy,
Woo,
buddy.
woo, from LES.
Better now. Thank you.
We worked everything out now on Facebook, so we
Thank you,
should
Super
sound
Mega
clear.
Producer. Appreciate it.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
And thank you to our peeps for pointing that
Yeah.
out. Hi, Carol. My sister-in-law is on. Oh my God! So thank you all for joining us again. We haven't hit any topics as of yet.
No.
We were dealing with the technical difficulties, but also just touching on COVID and the drama that's now starting up again with the variant Omicron. Omicron, and
I'm curious,
and Nelson
right?
again is a hot mess. I don't know what's wrong with him, but
I
he's
don't know.
he's a hot mess.
I am.
So yes.
I apologize beforehand.
He said it's gonna be a tough one tonight, so
Yeah.
hang on, sit tight, relate with us, chat with us. I'm on IG. Okay, so I'm trying to do both as far as comments and concerns. Nelson's going to speak on his topic, and then we will be addressing comments, questions, share your thoughts as well. So feel free, be transparent, be real. That's what we're here for. We're here to bring it to you correct. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Oh, there goes
Su-
Benjamin.
There goes, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Benjamin is the Super Mega Producer.
The buttons. I like
buttons.
pushing buttons. Why not?
I
Fuck
got
it.
that.
Let's
I
just
got
get it rolling.
Listen, I shared it. I don't see many people sharing. Tell them.
Oh, yes. Please do share.
Yeah,
Subs- share,
Thank you for your
like,
support. Please
follow.
share, like, and follow. Subscribe.
This is more than a menage a trois. We want to bring everybody in, all right?
Okay.
It's gonna be a mega. Should I say it? No.
Do it.
Mega orgy. No.
Wow.
No.
Of information.
A mega orgy of information, all
It'll be
right?
a mega orgy, a big hug, big group hug.
Yeah, no drama or love. That's how it is. All right. So
Somebody said. Oh, that's on IG. Pay
yeah,
attention on IG.
I'm on IG. It's
How was
I-
everyone's Thanksgiving?
Yes, Arsan 34. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. But how was everyone's Thanksgiving? I already said earlier. If you missed it, I gobbled up. My homegirl Madi, she whipped up all these delicious desserts. I'm still trying to finish them. But yeah, they were good.
That someone didn't share.
Who didn't share?
You.
First of all,
There's no more laugh button. There isn't.
no. But first of all, you were here.
hang.
You were here. You were here Friday. You were here Saturday. You've been here all day today.
Okay.
And normally you just go into the
Let's-
refrigerator. You normally just go into the refrigerator and you gobble up. Just like a turkey, you gobble up.
I have to pause because I'm trying to get out that bad habit of interrupting because I got it from somebody. So I'm letting you speak. And you are correct. I was here Friday.
And you were here yesterday.
Saturday, I was here, but I wasn't here because you had me driving Miss
Oh.
Daisy all day long.
You want me out the house?
I'm,
You want me out the house?
You know, it was supposed
wait,
to be. It was
no, no,
supposed
no,
to
no,
be.
no.
It was supposed to be.
You
an
want me out the
hour
house,
errand.
and you
I don't want
offered
you out
to
the
drive,
house.
and you offered
No,
to drive.
I offered to drive.
Correct.
Right.
So then you
I
drive.
don't
You don't
trust-
drive
I-
Miss Daisy. You drive me out.
I don't trust your driving skills.
Oh,
Let's be transparent. I really don't.
Woo!
I'm not the only one.
Hey,
and
we're getting a special request for the laugh button. They want it back. They
Oh,
want the
okay.
laugh button. All
we're
right.
gonna get a laugh button back, but it's actually gonna be genuine laughs, not this generic laugh that like you're on a game show or anything like that. But we're working on it. We got a few other cute little buttons to push.
We have real because we're trying to keep it as
Real.
transparent. So we got
So-
some real prompts for you that we actually live
All right,
with
and
in a day-to-day basis.
Let's go back to that topic because you do that and then I get thrown off track.
That's the point.
Wrong.
That's the point.
And so you had me driving. We were supposed to
I
do
didn't
an
have you driving.
Oh, that's right. I volunteered to drive. We were supposed to run an errand in no more than an hour. That hour expanded to a day long.
Am I correct when I say that you said I can keep going and doing
Ye-
this all day
yes,
long.
I
So
can.
why not take advantage?
I can-
Take me to point A,
yes,
B, C,
yes,
D,
yes.
E, F, G. All right. So John, say sorry.
So
The-
first of
say
all,
sorry.
First of all, I
Say sorry.
I
Say sorry.
apologize. I am
Thank you.
sorry.
Thank
I
you.
got
I
no
appreciate
problems apologizing or
Say
saying
sorry.
sorry. I take accountability, no problem. But
That's next week's topic. Accountability.
Didn't your sister say that?
Yeah, she's part of the we. I don't even know where we is today. I don't know. She's not on yet, but yes, she's. I think she has plans right now.
Oh, does she? Oh,
Yeah.
We need to talk to her about that.
She's celebrating a birthday right now. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, from 7 to 9, she needs to keep that space open.
Well, that's a
on
personal conversation you need
Sundays.
to have with my sister. Can we back on track? All right. So let's get to it. It's already 7:16, and I think it's time that we get into your topic.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw it at you.
So
Keep it real.
Yes, we're gonna keep it real. This is a very difficult topic that I'm gonna speak on for many people. But I'm gonna speak on my experience and what I'm going through because it's still ongoing. Forgive me, and I apologize beforehand if it sounds like it's rambling or if I'm going all over the place.
You mean like not make sense?
Oh, yeah, not make sense.
You don't make sense a lot of the times. Anyway.
Absolutely not. But what I'm sharing is very personal and it's very deep. And
Well, you're gonna get naked.
No, I'm not gonna get naked. Absolutely not.
Naked and afraid.
But I am. This is it. What I'm gonna speak upon, and I think this is the first time you're gonna hear about this.
Oh, no.
I've only actually because you touched on it, and you said that on our last podcast that it was the first time that I actually vocally said that I was dealing with depression.
Correct.
And
Correctable.
through my depression stage that I'm in, I reflected on that comment and to see that if I ever did speak, and I've only spoken verbally to one person, those words, and in some detail, what I was feeling and what I was going through. And I found that
And I wasn't that person.
you was not that person, wasn't my mother, wasn't my daughter. And I caught myself, I'm like, because I do tell you a lot. I don't tell you everything, but I really share. And I would have thought that this would have been something that I should have shared with you. But it goes to what depression does to you, where I am 100% transparent with you and was not able to share this with you.
Go to the mic.
What?
Just go to the mic. I think you're a little too far from the mic.
You don't hear me?
I hear you because you're sitting next to me.
Wow. I can't.
But you asked, so I answered.
Oh, look, I got lower. Nice. Yeah, now I'm closer. I can put my mouth on the microphone now. So I'm just saying.
Wow.
So, our show is unscripted. But this is the way I process things. I process things by writing little notes. Because I have so many thoughts and feelings that it's almost impossible to go through some type of thought process and then say it verbally. Because things get lost, especially when it comes to something that's very emotional. So I had to, and that's probably why I'm a hot mess today, because I reflected on my last 3 years.
You're a hot mess every day.
Every day, but more so today, because I reflected on the last 3 years, because this is where my depression has been for the last 3 years. So me writing down all these thoughts and feelings brought me back to those instances in my life. So it was very hard for me on a lot of points to keep my composure. But at the same time, I needed to go into those places in my past so I can write them down and then share this with you. And
Just so that you know, right now, I do have Lorraine commenting saying culturally, it's seen as weaknesses, but you are not alone. No, just
that
so
is
you know.
correct. It's especially in the Latino community, we have this orgullo, this proudness that we can't express our feelings and that we can't show any type of emotion because, as Lorraine said, it shows some type of weakness. And honestly, it takes so much more courage to speak about what you feel, what your emotions are, what you're thinking about, because that is the only way we get to heal. So, nobody fakes depression. Everybody fakes a smile, but no one fakes depression. No one would want to fake depression. So it's a very intense feeling. So what I'm gonna do, I have to give you some context on my story and give you a timeline, and that way, I think in that manner that I will speak in, it will give the understanding and give you an understanding of who I am, what I've been going through, and how I've been dealing with it. So that way it doesn't sound like I'm all over the place and a hot mess. So
Nothing wrong with being a hot mess.
no,
A
it's
hot mess
not,
is good.
nothing wrong,
When you
man.
tell me that you sane, that's when I'll tell you
and
you
I've,
got problems.
And I've told her, I said, listen, it's like you're gonna probably have to rescue me a couple of times because I know that in my world, I'm gonna lose it in the sense, and you'll understand because I will get emotional about the topic and what I've gone through. But I believe I need to share this because as people that are depressed feel that they're alone, that they're the only ones going through this. And that's not the truth. In anything in
Absolutely.
life, anything that we live, anything we go through in life, I'm pretty sure there's millions that are going through it, have gone through it, and will go through it.
Right.
So, but because we internalize things, we never get to heal. And healing is very important if we need to grow. So this is a form for me of healing because I've never, ever expressed, like I said, I never said, she knows some of these things, but there's details that I've really only spoken to one person about besides my therapist. And I believe this is my therapy for me, and I want to share this with you. If it helps someone out there, if it's just one person,
That's
God
enough.
bless. That's
That's
more
enough.
than enough.
And there's a misconception with regard to depression, because I personally, when I was diagnosed with depression in 2018, I told my doctor it's BS. What do I have to be depressed about? I'm blessed with a great family, an awesome support system. I have a great job. My kids are healthy. Like there's nothing for me to be depressed about. And the words chemical imbalance came out, and it was like, what? Chemical imbalance? What?
But the crazy thing is, I don't know numbers, but I'm pretty sure there's so many people that are depressed and don't know that they're depressed.
Absolutely.
I'm in that boat. I'm definitely in that boat. So you don't have to be clinically tagged as depressed to be depressed. There are so many signs, there's so many warning signs and change in behavior that indicate there's something wrong. There's different degrees of depression as well. So just everybody's depression is different.
Agreed.
Everybody's depression is different. And I think everybody's depression needs to be handled differently, except for one aspect. We need to be kind to each other because some people don't know they're depressed. Some people know that they're depressed. And because we're not kind to each other, and if we say something, we don't know what that person is going through, and you come to them and give them some negativity, some bad energy, all you're doing is chipping at that person's wall that they have, that they're trying to protect themselves, and just keep chipping away. And then unfortunately, some depression does lead to death, suicide, self-harming. And I think we need to be more self-aware of our fellow human being and be kind to each other because we're all broken in some facet. Some more than others. Some can handle it better than others. But if you're kind to each other, a smile, a hello, that could be the difference. That could be life or death for some person. So as I tell my story, I want you to just take that into consideration when you interact with other people. And so I am going to now begin giving my context. Forgive me if I go up and down because I'm trying to stay a little organized. So to give you some context about me, I grew up an only child. So growing up, I didn't have siblings. So, when I was bad, I couldn't blame it on my brother or sister, So I got the brunt of everything. So I didn't have an older brother growing up or, to lead me to break the past so I can, and I'm spoiled. I don't got that. I don't have that luxury.
My older brother always blamed it on me.
Yeah, exactly. So being an only child, what I got from that, and I reflect on my childhood and growing up, when I had a situation or a problem, I had to figure it out. I couldn't lean on anybody. And I have old school parents. Old school parents, it's not like, open communication and talking. That generation, they don't do that. So when I had a problem, or I had an issue, or I was in my feelings growing up, I had to figure it out. I had no choice. It was just, that's the way it had to be. So I became a problem solver. So as you know, I am always trying when people come to me or there's something going on.
It's a hero.
And I'm not even trying to be a hero. Instead of focusing on the problem and that energy, let's try to focus all our energy on a solution. And that's the way I've been. When I was younger, I also learned how to play chess. Chess taught me patience. So with that and having to solve my own problems is where I developed this persona of, became solving and trying to figure out what can make this better. So that's my childhood. I'm a grown-up man now. So this is where my journey began. 2018, my parents moved to Florida, maybe 3-4 years before 2018? 2015?
They actually moved the same year I moved to Florida, 2013.
2013.
August of 2013. I moved July and they moved
correct.
in August.
Okay, so my parents were already here. So in 2018, my dad started having some medical issues. It was in April, and he needed to have a surgery. He needed to get a stent in his heart. He already had a few, so that surgery wasn't really serious because he had been through those procedures already. He was fine. So in July is where he ended up in the hospital. And from July, they did another surgery. He got home in August, came out beautiful. I flew down. I stopped. I was working at an engineering company at the time, and they were awesome. They gave me the time. I came down. I was with my dad through the surgery, rehab, make sure everything was on point. Mm-hmm. This lasted to the end of September. My dad, by the time rehab was done, my dad was able to walk without a walker. He couldn't drive anymore, but he was able to go around. He was able to do everything that he needed to do every day. Yep. He gained weight back, because he lost like 50 pounds. So it was sad to see him in that transition, but I was elated when he recovered. So during this time, and we're at the dinner table, and my dad goes, and it's my mother, my dad, and me. And he has this convo, which still impacts me because he says, when I die, you have to take care of your mother. At that moment, I didn't even realize how powerful those words were. And even though I heard them, I didn't understand it. So I didn't really put emphasis on that, what he said. But we went on. He recovered. And I told him, I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not going back to New York until I know you're 100% good. And he was. This was at the end of end of September. I went back to work. A couple of weeks later, my mother calls me, and she tells me, oh, your dad's in the hospital again. I'm like, oh, my God. You know, I just left him 2 weeks ago. What happened? So he was in the hospital. I went. He wasn't as bad as I thought he would be. He developed anxiety, so the anxiety sometimes would think he was having a heart attack. But he was still in recovering because he was just still gaining his strength, even though he was able to walk and all that fashion. So I came down. He was in the hospital. I was down here for a minute. Excuse the dogs, the killers, the killers. Thank you for the comedy relief. Whichever the three. Thank you. Give some light to this. But
that's Major, aka Cujo.
Yeah, Cujo. He's bipolar. I've never seen a dog bipolar, bro. He could be on you.
You're judging my dog.
He could be. I'm not judging. I know for a fact he could be on your lap 1 minute, and then if you move, he will growl and snap at you. I'm sorry. That's not normal for a dog. Anyway, thank you for letting me catch my breath. So my dad was in the hospital, and then they recommended rehab. Fine, found a rehab, got all that together. I said, all right, get him in a rehab. We got him in a rehab, and he had he needed specific instructions, specific medications, of that nature, and. In my opinion, I think that was the biggest mistake that we did, the medical staff did, because that's where his health condition deteriorated. It was at the rehab
Just
center.
like overnight.
He was there on a Sunday. I was leaving Tuesday.
Was it Tuesday? I think it was Monday. The next day.
Yeah. You gotta forgive me because starting at this point, my last 3 years become completely foggy. I am just completely walking like a zombie when it comes to details, and you'll see. So I was leaving, and I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. And I left. He was still in the rehab, but they gave him too much Valium, and which put him in a very comatose state, which he wasn't supposed to be. I was upset with them because they shouldn't have not done it, but I can't because they're taking care of my dad. I don't want to irritate, it's like getting mad at a waiter or a waitress, but they're bringing your food. So you got to be careful what you say. But he was fine. He was fine the night before. I remember he was hungry and they had clam chowder on the menu. And I asked him, hey, he loved clam chowder. He's like, yeah, give me clam chowder. And he had the biggest smile on his face. And they didn't have, and he got so disappointed. So, and it was late. I couldn't get him anything. The following day, he was a completely different person. He was not coherent. I don't know if he even listened to us. But they were trying to let the medication just leave him. So I went back to New York. I had to go to work. I had expended all my time plus all the non-paid time. And I'm explaining this to you because there's a point later on about this. My mother calls me the following day. I'm already in New York, and she tells me my dad is not doing well. And they actually transport him back to the hospital. And he got worse in the hospital. He ended up having all these spots on his body, which the doctor said was the beginning of sepsis. So, but if you catch it early enough with medication, there's a good chance they can recover. It all depends on the person and the condition. So, me being so far away, now I have anxiety because we just went through this. He was okay, and in a blink of an eye, he's not okay anymore. So, this is somewhere in the middle of the week. I'm talking to my mother, and my mother doesn't drive. So luckily my uncle lives next door, and he was driving her back and forth. So I tell my mother, just keep me posted. And in my head, this is what I was thinking. Hopefully he gets through the weekend. I'm coming down there Monday. So the weekend comes.
I think I saw him that Friday before you were scheduled to come down, because that's when I offered him coffee, and he said no, he didn't want coffee. He wanted a Heineken.
Yes, my dad loves Heinekens.
And I was like, I want to give you Heineken, papi, but I can't. I give you that coffee.
Yeah. So I get a phone call from my mother Saturday morning. If you can correct me, because there's many details that I can't remember.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, I get a phone call from my mom. She's telling me she has to go to the hospital. That my dad is. I don't even know what the word would be. It would be.
You used the word coding when you called me.
Okay, so he was coding. I don't even remember the conversation I had with her. So I call the hospital, and so when they pick up the phone, all I hear is this clamor in the background and machines going haywire, and that's all I hear. And I say, listen, I'm Nelson, my father's there, and the nurse is telling me, he's coding, we got a team on him, what do you want us to do? I said, you save his life. So I had to take a minute. I said, just do what you can to save his life, whatever measures necessary. I hung up the phone. My girlfriend got on the computer, booked me a ticket. That's the nearest first flight that I can fly out from wherever it is. I needed to fly out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I really don't know what the time span is. I receive another phone call. I don't know if it was from my uncle or it was from you.
No, you called me.
To get an update? Or
you called me and you said, I need a favor.
Oh, yes. So I did call you. Once my mother, actually, before I called the hospital, I called, again, I don't know. I don't know which one came in first. But I did call her. I said, what are you doing? I need you to go to the hospital. My dad is coding.
Correct.
And you went there.
Yep. I got there first.
Right. I don't know if it was you. It was you. So I get a phone call. I'm not out of my house yet. I don't have to pack anything because I had clothes in my parents' house. And you tell me that my dad passed away. So, when you have this, something happens and you have this outer body experience, like you're like, is this really happening? Is this really going on right now? So, get on a plane, head to Florida. I'm trying to call my mother. I'm trying to call her. No one's picking up the phone. I get in touch with my uncle, and my uncle goes, and he says it in Spanish, papi, cógela con calma. Tú no puedes hacer nada. Tranquilo. Se arregla todo cuando llegue. So basically, he said, take it easy. Get on your flight. Get here safe. So I get to Florida, and honestly, I have no idea what I was thinking. So when I get to the house, again, I go back and reflect on everything. So I get to the house and I go into rescue mode. Like I get to okay, what are we gonna do this? What are we gonna do with that? We're gonna do like I just wanted like I didn't have any answers because I felt so helpless. But because of who I am, that's where I went. I went into that gear. And I just didn't know what to do except what I've always known how to do. So at that point, it just I wanted to console my mother, and I had no idea how to. So, I'm there at home. I went to go get Chinese food for everybody. And on my way to go get food, on my way back, I got lost for half an hour. I never told you that.
You were with Ben.
No, I was by myself.
No, you were with Ben.
Was I? I got lost. Completely lost. And the Chinese place was only 10 minutes away. I got lost. I mean, Florida is dark as hell at night. There is no lights here.
They conserve a lot of electricity.
But, so while I'm driving, and this is where I do a lot of my thinking is when I'm driving. And I'm going to, like, all these emotions are going through me. Like, damn, my dad can't see his granddaughter get married. He always called she's the only girl I have. There's boys, the great grandkids are all boys. She's the only girl. That was his princess. And all these thoughts. My dad's birthday was coming up on the 14th. This is November 3rd. And they would have made 50 years in December. And none of it came to fruition. And obviously I'm thinking, why? He was fine. And then he wasn't. So as me, I can't comprehend it. I can't make rhyme or reason of why this is happening. Again, I want to solve a problem that I absolutely cannot. So that's where I find a difficulty in dealing with this, because it's something that is out of my control. There's things that are out of control, but this was an event, and I have to say that until that point, I went through life unscathed to any type of event as impactful as this on my life. So anything that's happened before that, I've been able to handle. And then this comes up and it doesn't work out for me. So I have the whole process now. Like I said, I grew up an only child. I have her to lean on. But, she has her own life. It's different when you have someone to lean on, like there's a sibling where it's like they can take the weight off your shoulders, even if it's for an hour. That hour can make such a big difference in a person's life.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I remember that day vividly because I did get there first, and I got the news first, and I had to not only give it to you, but to your mom and to your uncle. But from that day, what stands out to me vividly is that your mom, as soon as we got back to the house, she brought out all the papers and she was asking me to make arrangements. And all I kept saying was, I can't do this. Like, this is Nelson's place, And before you did get on your flight, you may not remember this, but I did call you and I said, your mom wants me to take care of some details here. And I'm not ready to, I don't want to do that. That's your place. I want to wait for you to get here, and you were like, no, just do what you have to do.
Because I completely trust your judgment, and I have no problems handing things. I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to handle this. There's no way. I mean, burial arrangements, paperwork. I'm not in any frame of mind to really try to figure things out. And God, you're a godsend that you were already here. You were already familiar with everything that how things transpire in Florida, in this state, that those arrangements were made more fluidly instead of me trying to handle this, handle that. Because my biggest thing now is I have to tell my kids that their grandfather died. While my boys and girls handle things differently. My boys are like me. My daughter, on the other hand, was like this with my dad. And to give that type of news to her broke my heart even more. So this burden is completely on me. I have to take care of my family, as hard as it is, and as it's difficult and not the nicest, not the easiest thing to do. I have to pull up my big boy panties, and I have to handle this. So, you know, I have to tell my daughter, I have to tell my sons, I have to tell the rest of the family. You know, I have to tell, you know, I told my cousin Brenda, who is Leanne.
Uh-huh.
So I told her, she lives in Florida, and I told her, and God bless you, I love you so much, because all she told me was, I'm there. That's all she did. I'll be there. I'll be there Wednesday, or whatever day it was. No questions, no nothing. I'll be there. And I'm so grateful for you for that. I had to tell my cousin Liz, my dad walked her down the aisle. That was her father. And they hadn't spoken in a while, and she didn't get to see him. And, you know, in the wake, it was, you know, that hit her hard. But I have to give this unfortunate, you know, news to everybody. But I go through it. So we're in November, and as things calm down a little bit, and I get a moment to myself, I have a job that I have to answer to. But they were great with me. And they were in communications, and they sent something, you know, for the funeral, and I'm very appreciative of them. So when I had a moment, I sat down, I spoke to the human resources guy, and I then emailed them, and I'm going to tell you briefly what I emailed them. I told them, listen, I need till the end of the year to take care of my father's affairs and get myself in order, make sure my mom's okay as much as possible, and I'll be back January 1st. And they said, okay, we'll get back to you. I'll give the owners the message, no problem. And then about a week later, I think after the Thanksgiving break, they messaged me, and they let me go. I was a little taken off guard because of how great they were, but they let me go. So I lost my job. I can't blame them, but that's what they chose, and that's what's in their best interest. I completely understand. But I'm just saying this because it comes into play later on. So I got no reason to go back to New York in a rush. So I stay on. I think maybe the universe, God, has different plans for me and steers me, pushes me, you know. So I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida in December. So I can now take a moment to do things at a slower pace.
And I remember during that time, you know, you were taking a lot of, you know, the steps just to the insurances, getting, you know,
Plot
your mom's
burial,
in, plot burials, everything all in order.
Oh.
House in order, everything is in order.
When I tell you it is not easy. Nothing can prepare you for a situation. And then my parents' burial was paid for and everything was arranged, and it was still an enormous amount of burden to take on, and it's an undertaking, a very big undertaking to take on. So I had during that time period, I had moments of a reflection, and my father's passing was very affecting, not only to me, but my mom. I lost my dad, but I told you this, and I lost my mom that day as well, metaphorically, because my mom lost her soulmate. She no longer has that partner that she had. So she will forever be changed from that day. My daughter is not the same person she was before that day. It changed them completely. And here I am in the rescue, and I can't do anything. I don't even know how. And I'm not even talking about me and what I'm going through. So eventually everything gets in order. I was coaching here in the college. So I was under contract. So I went back to
New York.
In New York, right. So I went back to New York, and there was some type of normalcy. This is 2019 now. And it's amazing what we get used to and what we call normal in our lives. And we don't even realize what we call normal isn't really normal. So I was coaching, and I coached travel ball, I coached high school, I coached college. And just one day out the blue, and then these are thoughts that I reflected on. And one day out the blue, I tell my girlfriend, I don't want to coach anymore. And she took a step back, because I love coaching. I love mentoring. I love giving guidance to the youth. I wish I had someone at my age that spoke to me like I speak to them. And she tells me, I've never heard you say that before. What's wrong? That was a warning sign. I see it now, but that was an indication. That was an indicator. So during 2019, I had the flexibility, thank God, with my coaching gig, that I was able to go back and forth from Florida. So while I wasn't there permanently, I was able to go back and forth. But when I wasn't in Florida, I got so much anxiety because I'm worrying about my mom. My mom doesn't drive. God bless my uncle for being next door. And my neighbors across the street, they were very helpful and supportive. So when I wasn't there, there were people there that can help her out. But that doesn't defeat the fact that I'm in New York and I'm going through these emotions. I'm like, my anxiety, and I go back to that damn conversation on the dinner table. What my dad said, it's still not clicking. So I go out. I was always planning to go to Florida. I was always coming down here. It was just a matter of the timing. So I think this sped up my timeline dramatically. So I started the process of, every time I would come down here, I'm bringing 2 or 3 bags. I'm trying to get situated somehow, some way down here. Throughout 2019, I kept playing November, and I kept playing it in my head because I can't remember a lot of the things that happened. I'm constantly conflicted throughout the year. Worried about my mom, worried about my daughter. I think about, should I have done this? Should I have done that? All these scenarios, and trying to find solutions, and nothing happens. that's how pretty much 2019 went. And I have to say, coaching for me in 2019 was not fun for me. That should have been a very big indicator of what I was going through. So the holidays for 2019 to 2020, my mom went away to Puerto Rico, went with all her family, and I felt more at ease because she has all her family there and they're all crazy. So, she got to have company, her sisters, her brothers, and I was very relieved of that. That reduced my anxiety quite a bit in regards to that. And I have to say that, going into the new year, I felt a lot better. I had a great New Year's Eve. Holidays were good. And then 2020 hits. So 2020 hits, and what did we get in 2020? COVID. So March hits, COVID hits, and
You're in New York.
I'm in New York. My mother's in Florida. She's back from Puerto Rico. She's in Florida. And, we get all isolated and put in a little bubble, and everything I thought I was, okay, I'm good. Now all this anxiety comes back. I think it was the first time, because I was isolated, that I realized that I was in some type of depression. And it's the first time I actually spoke to someone about it. I shared my feelings and thoughts with my significant other at the time. And because she was the only person that I physically was around. I wasn't physically around. No one was physically around anybody unless you were in the same household. So it was the first time that I realized that I was in some type of depression. And being isolated, your mind plays tricks on you. And there's things that you think about that normally you wouldn't think about. Again, but then they become normal because of what you're going through, or you don't even realize what you're going through. So as a problem solver, I'm always running through my head every possible scenario. So I have good thoughts and I have dark thoughts because I think of every aspect that can happen and what should you do in that case. So having all this time, I go through the full gambit. Was this my fault? I'm angry. I'm angry at his doctor. I'm angry at myself because I should have stayed. I have this guilt. Did I do the right thing? Did I do enough? I mean, even to the point I had thoughts of, maybe if I wasn't here on this earth, things would be better. It's just this helpless feeling. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. All these signs. And I'm oblivious to it. Completely oblivious to it. I'm trying to solve a problem that I can't solve.
Can I interject for a second?
Of course.
So 2020, from 2018 to 2020, I knew you were struggling, right?
Very much so. I didn't know I was struggling.
I knew you were struggling. And I've always said to you, you wear the perfect mask. Perfect mask. Because not only with me, but with others that I know, when I have spoken to you about my struggles, you pointed it out to me in 2018 prior to your dad passing away. That something was wrong with me. Right?
I don't remember, but I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah, I could tell you what you said. You were like, do you ever get your ass off of the middle of that damn sofa? That's what you said to me. But I saw your pain. I felt your pain. And it was hard getting through to you because even though I wanted to shake you and just be like, It's okay. Break down. I knew I had to give you that open door when you were ready, right?
Absolutely.
The word depression didn't come out of your mouth until last week.
Yeah, to you.
But I will say that about a month ago, when you were back in New York, that you went in for just a couple of weeks, you broke. And that's when you finally told me that you felt alone. You felt unloved. And that hurt. That hurt me to hear you say those words. But a part of me also said, I'm glad he said them. Right? Because there's no other way that anybody's going to know how
I cracked
you're
a bit.
feeling.
I cracked a bit.
You did.
It's hard to...
And that's what I was going to say. It's hard.
It's hard, especially because of the type of person I am. It's hard for me to just drop this wall that I have because I've always been the person that solves everything. I am the one that takes care of everything. I am the one that does everything, come to the rescue. And I needed the rescuing.
But you have said to me countless times, and that's where we all fail. We can be the best at giving advice to others, but when it comes down to taking our own advice,
Absolutely. 100%.
we just shut it down.
Absolutely.
Right? Because how many times have you said to me, you cannot be there for everybody. You can't solve everybody's issues.
No. Yeah, we can't. Absolutely not.
You can only control what you are in, you can change what you can, what you can manage, and stop putting everything on your plate like it's your responsibility.
Absolutely right.
But on the flip side, when it comes to family, that's where you and I connect the most, because when it comes to family, our family always comes first.
Correct. And, it's in our families, we are at the top of the hierarchy.
Correct.
So it is the burden, and I don't want to say burden, but it's
not in a negative
not a negative way.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility to take care of our family. So I had that time to reflect during COVID, and I seeked help. I have no idea. I don't know if it was my girlfriend or if it was you, but I went and inquired about getting a therapist, and I did. And I found one that I was comfortable with, because when you seek therapy, you also have to have some type of vibe, a connection. There's some therapists that are very straightforward and monotone, and people don't vibe to it. And some people are the laid-back, friendly type of thing. And that's what I gravitate to. Mm-hmm. So I found someone. And, therapy was funny because it was virtual. There's no human connection or interaction. Like, it wasn't me like this. It was like this. It's you and me.
And I think that was the most difficult part. And I'm going to just not taking it away from you, but COVID hits, right? And we no longer have that one-on-one or group setting connection with
Correct.
people. So the disconnect becomes larger.
And it's not even, the disconnect happened dramatically.
Oh,
it was instant. It was from night.
We didn't have a choice.
No, it was from night to day. There was no transition. There was nothing. Let's ease into it. It just happened, and we had to adjust.
And we did have a choice, right? Because we had the choice. F it. Let's just do what we want to do, or heed the warnings and protect ourselves.
Correct.
Right. And even despite the fact that some of us did heed those warnings and did protect ourselves and did not socialize, to a certain extent, it was still a struggle.
Yeah,
right?
I told my girlfriend, I'm kidnapping you. You're not leaving the house.
You.
You're not going back
I
home.
hear you. I had the issue with my dad. My dad didn't know how to freaking stop going out. And I was like, listen, what are you doing? You could bring this to us, but my dad's attitude was, but I gotta live. I have to live. Like, I'm not going to stop living, but yet and still, it was still a difficult time, so virtually to have a therapy session, the whole point of therapy is to be able to engage with that person and get that feel, like you said.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get, and the crazy thing, my therapist was half my age. I'm 50. So she wasn't about 25. I would say she was maybe 30. She was young.
Excuse me, Lorraine said, and some therapists are more of a hot mess than you.
Absolutely. But
most of them are, yeah.
yeah, but the thing that worked well for me was she had an unbiased opinion and perspective. She didn't know me from a hole in the wall. I introduced myself, gave her a little bit of a synopsis of who I am and, you know, a little history, and she listened. And for the first time, even though it was only an hour, for that hour, I felt a sense of relief. I felt this weight that just evaporated.
Yo, your therapist gave you an hour?
An hour.
How much he charged you?
I don't know. It was
That
insurance.
must-
Insurance covered it, so I'm
Yeah,
good.
oh, that's good.
So I had an hour, and I believe I had 3 or 4 sessions before she took another job. So when I was getting into a good place,
She leaves.
she leaves.
Oh my God. And that's why I don't like therapists. Excuse
Um,
me. No offense to any therapist that's out there.
And
right now.
they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we'll find you another therapist." But my feeling was, I have to now expose myself to another person. It was hard enough to expose myself to this one person. Now I have to get naked to someone else.
And afraid.
I
Naked and afraid.
I wasn't ready for that. I just pushed it to the side, completely pushed it to the side. What I did and how I functioned in 2020 was, all right, I got time on my hands. What am I good at? I can't coach. All my seasons are canceled. Nothing in sports is happening. I'm done. Completely done. What are my other skill sets? I have many. I've always wanted to pursue different projects, and I took advantage of the time that I had to start these projects. I've always been a hustler. If you know me, I am a hustler. Like, I have the gift for gab. I make friends everywhere. I keep in touch with so many people that I have no reason to keep in touch with, just for the simple fact that it's a barter and exchange system. I have what I call as a network. I have a network of people that I've had throughout the years. I've known people 20, 30 years. And
You have a ship full of goodies, and you just go to every port,
so there's
and
every
you're just
And I only keep it, and not for me. It does come in handy. But remember, I am always in rescue
Did
mode.
you just say again, member?
Remember, yes,
Did
we had that
not have this
conversation
yesterday?
right. Remember. I need to enunciate the word remember. Remember, I have rescue mode. So my network is not for me. My perspective. My network is for everybody I want to take care of, everybody that I want to help. That's why I keep that network, because there's always something, sometime, in some situation that someone needs help, and I can facilitate that. We've had in common, and she's the same way. It's like, okay, if I can't solve it, let me go to her and see what we can come up with, or what your network and what my network does. So what I did was, okay, let me focus my energy and try to keep my mind occupied, because the greatest battle that we will have as human beings in this world, in our lifetime, is the battle between you and what's in your head. That is the biggest battle you will ever have, you and in your head. When you look in the mirror, you notice when you go to sleep, you might sleep, but you don't get rest, because your brain is still working. And that's constant. That does not go away until you leave this earth. It does not go away. So it's very important that you try to harness your brain, train it in some facet to where you can control your emotions and your thoughts, and do do it. It's very easy to say and hard to do.
Yeah, but you turned to your business, right? You turned to become an entrepreneur into your
Correct.
business, and you kept yourself focused. But in retrospect, do you also think that it was such a distraction to you that it didn't allow you to face your reality and your truth of what you were internally going through?
It was my car, and I put a car cover on it, put it in the garage, threw the key out. That's exactly what I did. I dove into, I got on YouTube. I started learning about so many things that I've always wanted to do. And I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to learn it. I'm going to get really good at it. I opened a couple of eBay stores. I started doing that. Then I started just venturing out into e-commerce. I sat down and started reading about real estate and taking courses.
Yeah,
and
you were going full speed ahead.
I was going
full speed ahead.
Since I started listening to motivational speakers because, I want to do that. I have a passion. They say I yell, but no, I have a passion. And I want to speak to people, especially the younger generations, and give my insight, of my 3 or 4 decades on this earth, and just, to help them maybe navigate these waters that we call life, and, make some good choices. We're going to all make bad choices eventually along the way because we don't know everything. But if at least I can give guidance to someone, and that prevents them from steering the wrong way and, and riding their ship, I want to do that. I have so much conviction in that. So I started researching on this, and I went in on everything. I was like, from the morning to at night to the evening, I just kept busy. I started.
You even got into crystals.
I got into crystals. I started meditating. I started getting, you need to have a routine. So I got into a routine.
5 second rule,
the
right?
5-second rule.
Mel Robbins,
Mel
5-second rule.
Robbins.
If you don't know about it, YouTube it. 5-second rule is the best thing.
So Mel, just real quick snippet. Mel Robbins has this technique where we like to hit the snooze button when the alarm hits. So, and this is where our brain is our biggest opponent. So when that alarm hits, how many of you want to you get up, yes, let's start this day, amazing? No one. And I'm exaggerating because there's probably a few people that love what they do and know that, but no one gets up, hey, yeah, I'm going to seize the day. No.
I'm like that Monday through Friday.
Snooze, snooze, snooze. 3 hours later, there it is. The morning's gone.
I'm still in bed.
So
literally still in bed.
So I took that technique and 5-second rule, because if in 5 seconds,
I'm reading the comments, and there are a lot of individuals that are both on Facebook and IG that are raising their hands up and they're agreeing, and they're like, "Yep, been there, done that."
So 5 seconds, if your brain goes on defense mode, it is a human trait. It is a chemical reaction. It goes in defense mode. You're tired. You're sleepy. And all this. You need some sleep, boo-boo. Go back to bed. It prevents you from accomplishing what you need to accomplish. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't easy, but I got into that habit of waking up early. What worked for me was I started getting up at 9. And that was another sign of depression. I wasn't sleeping, but when I went to sleep, I ended up catching sleep at 5, and I had to wake up at 9, and then I just kept sleeping. So I'm tired.
You didn't have to wake up. I chose to wake up at 9.
So I went at 9, and then every week I went and I set my alarm clock a half hour back until I was at the point I'm waking up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and then you want to try to get people to get up at that time.
Yeah, so then I'm trying to get other people to do that. So, but I got into this routine. So I'm like, okay. And then I started meditating. I I started reading the Bible, and I'm almost finished with it. So it's been about a year. The Bible's a very intricate and complex book to read. But I started reading the Bible, and behold, to me, the Bible is actually a very interesting book. It deals with death and war and killing and all this other stuff. I'm like, whoa, where's the movie? But I got into a routine. That helped me cope. Ooh,
Oh my Lord.
I am so sorry.
You're really a hot mess.
I'm a hot mess because I didn't know where the thing is. Okay, so I got into a routine. It helped me in the sense of focusing my energy into things that were very productive and things that I wanted to do. But at the same time, I wasn't addressing the issue.
You weren't taking the time to pause.
No, I was full throttle. Let's go. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna learn this from A to Z. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what I was doing. And that's where all my energy went. And a good aspect of that is it's still going. So I'm still learning, but it's evolved and it's scaling in all my projects. So that was 2020. So at the end of once the restrictions started lifted, I got on my first flight that I can go see my mom. I went to see my mom. My daughter came with me. My youngest son came with me, and there was static in my my home in the regards that my mom was feeling a certain way, obviously, and my daughter was feeling a certain way, and there was a misunderstanding or lack of communication in that aspect. And then my mom and I had a heart-to-heart talk. It's probably the first time in many years that I actually spoke to my mom in that fashion, and I cried and told her my intentions. She felt a different way in regards to how I was processing things.
I think you can divulge that the issue was
when I'm coming.
There was a request from you at the dinner table by your
right.
dad.
So
and that pressure
that goes back to that conversation. That's why I stated that conversation in the beginning, because that's a common theme. I'm like, okay, I had a certain game plan. My mother had a certain game plan. My daughter has another certain. They all had different, perspectives. So once we had that heart-to-heart talk, then I had to put it in stone. I got to come down. So this one right.
But you didn't understand that.
No, I didn't.
You didn't understand that. You just felt like everyone's ganging up on me, and I don't know why. And there was a why, right? And it was just what was being perceived was, you're saying you're coming to Florida.
I thought I was making the steps that was doing it, but others perceived that it wasn't.
You were
enough.
just delaying the situation. Right?
So that like I said, it was just different perceptions. We had the same goal, but just different viewpoints on how it was transpiring.
Well, it's because, like I told you, I don't see what's the issue? Not what the issue was, but I'm like, what is taking you so long? Right. And every time I turn to you, you're like, yeah, I'm coming, but this is happening, but that's happening, but this is happening. And I got to do this. I got to work on this, and I got to work on that. It was an excuse after an excuse, so that, it appeared as if all you were doing was delaying what you said you were going to do, which was relocate to Florida, to be there for your mom and to help her.
Right. So that was the end of 2020. When I had this heart-to-heart talk with my mom, it's when I first realized how affecting the loss of my dad was. While it was affecting her emotionally, and I could understand that. I didn't realize until I took a pause how it was affecting her physically. And that's kind of woke me up a bit. I'm like, this is not, my daughter actually pointed out. I was like, because my mom is in fairly good health. She has no.
She'll whip your butt.
Yeah, she is. She's freaking awesome. So, it was just that emotional heartache that she had that was affecting her emotionally and physically. And for the first time, I actually realized, holy shit! Like, so then, what do? Okay, go in rescue mode. But I was like, okay, so but
The producer's telling us that you sound low, so you need to get closer to
Oh.
the mic. Why are you afraid of the mic?
I don't know, man. It's just something in front of my mouth. That's not something that it's common for me. Not this big, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so then that was handled 2020. All right, come down. She writes me a letter. And matter of fact, I have this letter right here that you wrote to me. I always keep it. I had it.
I'm like this, like
Let me get it. So when you sent me this letter, because you told me I sent you something, I want you to read it. So
is that the letter that got lost?
no.
Oh, it's another letter. Oh, that's your timeline.
Well, that's my tongue. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, let's go back. What happened was I asked you. I said, okay, meet me at my house because you were like, I don't even know where to start. And I said, well, you have to give yourself
Okay,
a
yes.
timeline. And he came to my house. No lie, I'm going to show you what he came to my
Correct.
house with. He came to my house with this piece of paper for his timeline to move to Florida, and all it said was doctor's appointments and pack. And I looked at him and I laughed and I said, it's not that easy.
when I tell you I've been in a fog since the end of 2018, I'm not lying. Like I haven't had clarity. If to give you a sense of a metaphoric sense of how it is, you know, when you're in the shower and then you get out the shower, but you leave the hot water running, and then you wipe down the mirror and you get that clarity for 2 seconds and then it fogs up again. That's been me mentally and emotionally since the end of 2018. So I haven't thought clearly, and you told me, and that is as simplistic as.
And he literally, the paper was ripped like this as well.
I just took it. I write notes everywhere. I got Post-it notes everywhere because if I don't write it down, ever since then, honestly, I can't function, and I stay. I'm like, oh my God, what was I gonna do? And it sucks. I hate it so much because I was never that way. So after my heart to heart with my mom, that was one of the cameras.
Oh, I don't know which
Yeah,
one it
I
is.
just heard it, but it's okay.
We're still live.
We're alive.
So back to the letter.
Oh, so I'm back. I'm back in New York. And I'm packing. That was it. I got all my packing supplies. I said that with my mother. We had a strategy. Hey, Mom, this is what I need. I need some help in moving. And we got that taken care of. So she sends me this letter. I'm not gonna read it, but she sends. She showed you what I wrote to her, and she sends me a little Bible.
Front and back.
Front and
by the
back.
way.
This is like how to move for dummies, and this is exactly what she gave me. I have to tell you that if I've read this letter 100 times, I've probably read it more than that, because every time I got lost or I felt the live video got paused,
Which one?
the Instagram.
Oh, how did that happen?
That's
Producer, we need you upstairs.
So it happened. We're going to take a pause because we do this easily. Sorry, Facebook fans.
I know that IG cuts you off after a certain period of time.
Low power.
Oh, so Ben needs
All right,
to.
we're back on again.
Does he need to? Would you like a chocolate?
No,
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
You keep trying to feed me chocolate, and
It's all right.
I don't
Papa.
understand.
It works for me. I'm just trying to share.
okay,
It's chocolate. I don't know. Chocolate.
okay, all right, yeah.
I need a snack.
So snack away, snack away. Hey.
Muchacho.
All right. So
mute me for a second, please. I don't want to chew in the public.
okay. So she sends me that letter, and very concise on exactly what I had to do. But it was great for me because it gave me some type of structure. I'm a hot mess. And even till then, I don't realize how much of a hot mess I am. So 2021 comes. I take care of everything. I move. I'm eventually down here, permanent. In May, permanently got all my stuff moved. So in retrospect, in learning my last 3 years, you want me to unmute you? There you go.
I got you.
Okay.
I gotta learn, right?
Yeah. So I'm still in this process of going back in time in my head of all the things that had happened. I mean, I learned to be an entrepreneur and actually go for the things that I want to do. The death of my father made me realize, and this is what COVID should have taught many of you, you are just a number on a payroll sheet to every employer, unless you're self-employed and you own your own business. But they let everybody go in a heartbeat. And that's what my company did. Regardless of the situation, you are just a number. And you need to realize that.
Everyone is indispensable.
Exactly. I realized that, I need to take care of my mom. By taking care of my mom, I take care of me, because a lot of my anxiety and everything was because of my mother. So I am taking care of myself as I take care of my mom. My objective that I learned was I need to create freedom. And when I say freedom, because freedom gives you time, I will not allow myself to ever, if I work for someone, that they dictate when and how I use my time when it comes to taking care of family affairs or anything of that nature. I refuse. And I think many of you need to learn that lesson in regards to that, because it's so important. Our biggest commodity is time. When we work, we are exchanging money for the time spent at the job. So I learned that. So I want to create, and where entrepreneurship comes into play, where I'm my own boss. I am my own boss. That was, I don't know, some accent. I don't know. So I want to have the ability to where my mother needs me, or she needs me, my daughter needs me, let's go. I can take care of it. I also learned who was there for me and who's been there for me. Because things like this really expose who a person is. And there have been quite a few people that, when this happened, got exposed. And while I forgive you, because I don't hold any malice or hate in my heart, I don't forget. So I learned that. What I also learned was time does not heal. Time goes on regardless of anything that's transpiring in your life. It doesn't heal. That whole phrase, time will heal all wounds, hell to the no. Mm-hmm. Whatever heartache, whatever situation you've been through. And
I describe that as acceptance. When you get to a certain level where you can live with decisions that you've made, losses that have occurred in your life, it's an acceptance because we really don't have a choice, right?
We have to go forward.
We have to move forward. So it's not about healing, it's about moving forward and accepting, but it always goes back.
We have to be self-aware of that, and that's we're not self-aware of that. And they also say absence makes the heart fonder. Absolutely not. I would trade me for my dad any time of the day to fill that void in my mom and my daughter in a heartbeat. So he should be here there, and this is to the people that lost loved ones and friends during COVID, when they should still be here. There's no rhyme or reason. And
COVID and in general.
Yeah, just in general. But COVID was a very unexpected thing. Like, if you have death is uncomfortable regardless of the circumstances.
Right. No one's ever prepared.
Yeah, nothing's going to prepare. You can know that you have a loved one or someone that's been going through cancer for 10 years and eventually they pass away. You have some type of preparedness because they have a life-threatening illness.
But it's still
But
a loss.
when
A
it
loss is a
happens,
loss.
you can't still come up with any idea this is really happening. It just doesn't correlate. So, as you said, it's an acceptance. I think once we accept things, we can start healing internally, emotionally, mentally. For me, it's a daily struggle. I deal with this every single day. That is my job, that I have to maintain some level of composure. I have good days, I have bad days, I have worse days. And that's why I had said in the beginning, be kind to one another, because we never know why, or not why, but what a person's going through. And any type of bad energy just chips away at that person, and they're just so struggling to just hold on to whatever it is that they feel safe. I struggle with trying to find peace every day. So it's a daily struggle. I try to manage it every day. It gets better because I'm self-aware of the things that have transpired. I've come to some type of acceptance, I can say, but not fully. I still have guilt. I still have anger. But I eventually, God willing, with God's help and God's strength, I can continue forward. But it's okay to break down. It's okay to cry. And this is coming from a person that doesn't break down, doesn't cry. I'll be driving and I'll break down a bit, but I'm alone.
I believe I've only seen you in 21 years. I've only seen you cry, I think 4 times. This was one of them. 2 months ago was the second one. I know you've seen me bawl more often than not, but I know for you it takes a lot.
It does, and it's because I feel that I have to, I'm a protector. I have to create this beacon of strength, and not realizing that exposing myself is the ultimate strength for any person to do. So, I wrote recently, and for me personally, I might smile and laugh, but many times I always dwell in dark places. And that's so true for me, and it's so true for so many people. And I wanted to share this because I want to let people know it's okay to be broken. it's okay to cry, scream, whatever it is that you need to do. You're also not alone. And as difficult as it is, and when this topic of conversation was brought up, and I told her I want to speak about that because I felt so strongly about actually speaking my piece. But as Sunday came, and I actually had to sit down and I got to write my thoughts, my stomach was in knots. I couldn't, for any rhyme or reason, just function. I have not eaten all day long. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
he eats every half hour. Every half hour. And if your refrigerator is full of leftovers, my man does not care. He will just garf it all up. And he'll just, when I saw him, I said, you haven't eaten anything. I'm not hungry. I can't eat.
So my process is I become self-aware of what my triggers are. It could be a song. It could be a phrase, something along your daily life. And I've realized and be self-aware of my triggers and understand that it takes time. It's a process. And it's the only way to heal. It's the only way to heal just a little bit every single day. So you can get back to, and this is the word normal, and it's a new normal because I am not the same person that I was in 2018. And I will never be the same person. And it's taken me a long time to get to this point, and it's probably taken me a little bit more. So I'm trying to discover myself all over again because I was in a place where I knew who I was, but now I have to figure out who this new Nelson is and how he's going to move forward with, with my life and my family and anything else that I want to do. So, I really thought it was important for me to share. I appreciate you guys listening, being patient with this, again, some technical difficulties, my breakdowns a bit, but I hope this gives some maybe insight, clarity. It helps someone along the way that can relate to this journey or part of my journey and understand, damn, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one struggling. I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one that goes through these things. And it's difficult. And, maybe some of my techniques work for someone or, okay, let me talk to a certain person. Whatever it is, I hope that this message comes to you as a blessing. And if you are going through some trials or tribulations, I hope that this can bring some clarity to someone and help you move forward and heal. So, on behalf of myself, I thank you.
We have some comments, which I wrote down. One was recognize all these feelings, praying for you to have strength to speak and to speak out your testimony. Thank you for sharing. I had a similar great loss. Prayers to you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for opening up and being so vulnerable. Your cousin Brenda asked me to give you a hug, so I'm going to do that on live. She sees I'm a woman of true word. Thank you. She also said that they lost you. When you said that your employer terminated you, they lost you. And she realizes, I don't know if she realizes now, but I guess in sharing your story, she realizes that you have more in common than she thought. Someone else did say that they empathize. I totally get it. We have other comments that have been coming up. I love you, primo. Also sending you virtual hugs. Appreciate you sharing it. It's hard when you don't have someone to be broken with. The process of healing is in motion real time. With opening up and speaking as much as you need to will ultimately begin the healing. And really just trying to hold your shit together on a daily basis is exhausting. Those are some great comments. Thank you all for the support. Nell knows he's my ace for many reasons. And he's taken me out of numerous dark places. And it's hard to look at your ace, to look at your left and your right hand and see that vulnerability. But you're not alone. You're not alone. And I could tell you this, and I don't think I've shared this with you. I have 4 hours with your dad the day he passed. And I held his hand. And I reminded him of how much you loved him. And I felt from him his blessings to you.
I'm so appreciative that you were there because I never got to say goodbye.
And I know, and I fought that day. I'm a fighter when it comes to certain things, and I apologize. But I fought tooth and nail that day to keep his body there, his soul there. But I kissed him. I asked for his blessing. I touched him. I did everything that I believed that you would have done.
And I had said the clam chowder thing because that is the last memory that I have of him speaking. And the last memory that I have was that phone call to the hospital. And that replays in my head all the time. The noises, the machines. And that's the last memories I have. So I appreciate that you were there. You were able to be there. An extension of me to my dad,
And I mean.
And I want to apologize to people that I've interacted with because I just not have been who I used to be.
You don't need to apologize.
No, I understand.
You don't need to apologize because at the end of the day, it's about understanding. It's about knowing who you truly are. And I know what you're saying. I know it's not an apology because you did anything wrong. It's just an apology because you haven't been who you once were, right? You've now, and I will say it, Nelson has the I don't give a fuck attitude. You want to walk out his life, you can walk out his life. It is what it is. He's not going to chase you. He's not going to beg for you. He's not going to try to reel you in on some bullshit. If he's going to reel you in, he's going to reel you in on some real shit. And I said this in our first episode. People have the misperception about Nelson, as being out there, right? He's a handsome man. He's a handsome man. And the question is posed to me often, why is it that he's so handsome and he's not with someone? Because it takes a strong woman to understand you, okay? It will take a strong friend to understand you because we are all shaped differently.
Absolutely.
We're all shaped differently, right? So I understand your apology is if I haven't been my normal self, but in this life, we have to transition. And in that transition, we have to know what our own boundaries are. And we have to learn how to take those boundaries and make sure that people understand them. That they understand them and they can respect them. Right? Because if not, that's where the whole manipulation comes into play.
No, definitely. And like I said, we're not kind to each other. It's all you're doing is just making a person situation even that much more dire. It stops their healing, and it's just not conducive to being happy. Absolutely not. I'm a big proponent of just being kind. We were driving and we saw the homeless mom and the daughter.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
yesterday. It was
yeah,
yesterday.
She was playing the violin, and
The daughter was playing the violin.
I was driving, and I was like, I'm stopping. I was like, why are you stopping? I was like, I'm going to give him the money.
Yeah, they were offering, a rose for any type of donation or
I
contribution.
told him keep the rose. God bless. She's very talented. And that's, you see people on the road or they're panhandling or anything. You don't know what their struggle was. You don't know what their struggle is. If that $5 could feed both of them or whatever it is, or even that smile and God bless makes their day, that's what we need to do for each other. Because we just don't know. We don't know. And, it's unfortunate. There's many that have left this earth because they were misunderstood. And people didn't take the time or the patience to really get to know someone and understand them. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get you. Like I said, we're all broken. We're all broken in some fashion. But it's just being self-aware of yourself and being self-aware of others that's gonna be able to change the way we interact with each other. It just really is.
And the truth is that even with the individuals that we do on a regular basis interact with, because I know myself, in my moments of struggle, I have to turn to my husband and let him know so he could understand I'm not here. I'm not here today. And I don't know why I'm not here today. And don't ask me to explain what the hell's wrong with me, because I don't know what's wrong with me. All I know is that I'm comfortable in my place, in my isolation, from everybody.
I've never been comfortable enough to even say that. Like I said,
it takes a while, because it takes a while, and the reason why it takes a while is because you're afraid no one's going to understand you.
Correct.
And in your case, you have traumatic experiences that have led up to where you are right now.
Yeah, it was
right?
one thing, and another thing was a domino effect, a big snowball, and it was. I felt like not that I felt it still feels that I'm gasping for air many times, and being me, I help everybody. I don't have a solution to it. I can't even explain it, and I think henceforth why I don't think I was able to tell you. Because I couldn't even put it into words, and we weren't physically together, and it sucks because you would have been one of my go-tos to like, hey, yo, I don't know what's going on, but then again,
but I knew you were.
You knew, but I didn't.
knew you were just the way you were on the go, doing things, and your mind was going. I knew that it was your mechanism
to cope,
to cope. And I wasn't saying he's running away. He's running, right? And eventually he's going to get tired. And when he gets tired,
is when it hits.
Hopefully he'll open up. He will open up, because you used to, up until last month, I'm in bed on a Saturday, you walking in and you're like, yo, you still in bed? You told me 3 hours ago you're going to come in. And what would I say? Just leave me alone. I just want to be in bed, and it is what it is. And even you would say, well, I don't understand.
No, yeah.
And you would want to motivate me. And I'm just like, leave me with my lack of motivation right now, because I'm fine, right? Even though I'm not fine, but I'm fine in that place at that moment. So, understand that the process is very hard, right?
Extremely hard.
Very hard.
Extremely
It's very hard.
Like if I wish I can have you all look inside of me, and if I can ever even put it into words how I feel, I can't.
I think that's really, it's a really great type of analogy. If we can take others and put them within, right? Because
Yes.
the outer is, like I always say, it's an agent. We're going to present what we want to present. And vulnerability is a huge deal because it comes with you're weak. What do we normally tell a person who's going through an issue, such as relationship breakup? You're better than that. You don't need that person. F that person, right? You're strong. Feel what you got to feel. Work with what you got to work with. Because no one can tell you anything that's going to take away your feelings.
You can't.
It's like me going to the store with you and saying, yo, Nelson, you put on this horrible looking suit, which you rarely do, but you put on a horrible looking suit. And I'm like, yeah, it looks great. No, mother effer, the shit looks horrible. And I'm going to tell you it's horrible. How many times you've told me, no.
Are you wearing that?
No, my own husband has been like, you not walking out the door looking like that. You feel me? And that's what we need, right? We don't need those that are condoning, supporting us. No. If I know the truth, and the truth is you're in a place and you have a right to be in that place, I'm not taking you out of there.
Yeah,
Because all I'm trying to do is just deflect you from what your reality is. And I don't roll like that.
And the sad part about it is a lot of people don't even realize the harm that you're doing to a friend or a family member. And family members are very, in my experience, let me clarify that. I've seen many families or family members give advice on things they should never be giving advice about. When it comes to a mental aspect or an emotional aspect, things of the heart, only that person can make a decision for themselves whenever they realize and become self-aware of what it is. Like you said, you're better than that, or you're not in their shoes. You don't feel what they feel. You have to let people make their own choices. You can, I would say, not give advice. I don't even know what you would say to a person.
I've learned and I don't mean to interrupt. He learned that from me to interrupt, by the way. But I don't mean to interrupt, but I've learned over the course of several years, unsolicited advice is the worst mother effing advice. It is, because I can speak with you, and I try to. I don't do it always, but I try to say, would you like my opinion?
Yes.
Right? Or I will say,
I've learned that from you too as well. It's like,
would you like my opinion?
Unless an opinion is asked for, I'm not trying to give it.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle the truth or can't handle hard things, hard facts, and some people can.
And unfortunately, I've also learned, and this is just through my own coping mechanism, I'm not poking at anybody. I'm not pointing the fingers at anyone, because that word you can become an ugly word to a lot of people. So I is the big word for me. I feel, I need.
Because I can't be in your shoes.
Right.
I can't say you, because I don't know what you are going through.
Right.
So that's the whole concept behind that.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, as far as COVID and this pandemic and mental health, I will say that personally, I began working from home. It's been 2 years now? Going on 2 years. It's going on 2 years I've been working from home. And I love what I do. I love what I do. I don't sometimes even get up to pee. Fun fact. In an 8 hour span, I get calls all the time on my personal phone, and I'm like, I can't talk. And you remember during COVID, I remember one time you showed up here unexpectedly and you said, bitch, is this what I have to do? Fucking fly to Florida for you to answer your phone?
Word.
And the truth was that at the time, the whole isolation period, I found so much comfort in that. But then I started to realize that comfort was fucking with my depression that I already suffer from. And I started to question whether my meds were working or not. COVID and mental health COVID took away not only a lot of individuals in our lives, but it also took huge parts of our lives. The norm, I don't know for a lot of you, but the norm for me is no longer the norm, right? I can go to work and I can happily go downstairs and just sit down and just get on my iPad, watch my shows, binge watch them, and not even go out for fresh air. And I have the luxury here in Florida to just walk outside, sit on my swing, or go to the back and just catch my breath out there. And I don't even do that much. If COVID affected you in any way, shape, or form, try your best to get back to normal.
Whatever your normal is.
Whatever your normal is. And I say that only because we can't live in fear. We can't live in fear. And it's a struggle already for us, right? Because we can walk outside today, God forbid, God bless all of you, and get hit by a car, right? We don't know what the next second of our lives is going to pose upon us, but we do have to get back to that. I recently have been going back to that because
you have improved.
I'm improving. I'm
Yes,
trying.
you are. I have to acknowledge you.
I'm trying, but it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Saturdays and Sundays. Listen, I would be in bed. No lie. Saturdays and Sundays, 3, 4 o'clock, I'm still in bed, and I don't want to get up. And I think that there came a time where I was giving myself phantom headaches just to stay in bed. And I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Well, that's a good thing.
I don't have a TV in my bedroom. So if anyone is experiencing what I experienced during COVID, take time. Inez, yeah, okay. Yeah, me too. The Me Too phase is not only for, that era of women. It's an era of this is what can happen, and it can happen to all of us. It can happen to all of us. And interestingly enough, I learned during that time to let others know I can't be here for you now because I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. And it takes a lot, just like for Nelson, it takes a lot for me to cry. I think the last time I cried, I don't even remember the last time I really cried.
Don't look at me. I can't remember the last 3 or 4 years, so you're going to ask me.
But I remember the last time I cried, I know my husband walked in, and I know a friend of mine happened to call me at that same time. And I just let it loose. And it's hard for me to let it loose. Why? Because I know, not that I know, but I know that I have to be strong. I have to be strong.
You need to be strong.
For a lot of reasons. But this whole COVID situation is not going to help us. this COVID situation is going to be ongoing. It's here to stay.
We just need to learn the lessons that have been given to us. We can't use COVID. We can't use COVID to hinder us because it's absolutely 100% stops us from being who we are.
Yeah, but I tried not to let COVID hinder me. I got into coloring. I got into doing diamond painting. I did a couple of sessions, maybe one or two. What do you call the painting?
Coloring by numbers?
No. Not coloring by numbers. What do you call that?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
That's
My girl Lo, help me out here, mama.
Like paint night?
Yeah.
Oh, wine and paint?
Yeah, I did a couple of paint nights with my girlfriend Lo. Also, a lot of video chatting, got on House Party. I'm not even on House Party.
We missed that. We missed see how important that human interaction is.
Yeah.
It is so.
I got to the point
vital.
where I was like, I don't even want to talk to nobody.
It's so vital. Like we got put in this bubble, and then most of us having left the bubble, and then being with the phone, it just desensitized us as human beings. Like we don't interact with each other like we used to. Like I crave that human interaction, talking with people.
I want to go out and just be on the concrete and play Scullies and hopscotch and Scullies. Scullies is that.
Scully is something
That's
a hat.
Scullies and I just want to hopscotch. I want to be
Chinese
in
handball
the park and get on the monkey bars. Like I want that youthfulness that we don't have. And yeah, there's a technology, absolutely, because we do have it. Parks are still around. We could take a chalk and we can do a Skelly's board. I can do a hopscotch board.
Like I take breaks from my day. I get in a car and I just drive. I'll end up at a bookstore. I'll buy a frap and I'll get a book and I'll read, just to be around people, just to have that. Okay, there's people. Wow. Okay, the world is still going. And just to, it's amazing that me going to the store or ordering something from a restaurant and actually speaking to a human being, how soothing that is.
Restaurant. Uber is my best friend.
Yeah, that's something you guys need to stop. Holy crap.
Uber is my best friend.
There's going to be a point where you call the order and you won't have to call it in because they know what you want already. You'll be on speed dial. Oh, that's Mia's house. Okay, this is what day is it? Tuesday. Click.
And
okay, that's
and it's not about laziness, because it's not that. It is more of just, this is my norm. Do I have to go out to a restaurant? No. And I will tell Ben, babe, let's go out tonight. Let's go out tonight. Tonight comes and I'm like, let's just order in. We're good. I just want to stay here and just relax.
That's your struggle.
Yeah, that's my struggle. I just want to stay
That's
here.
your
and
struggle.
I hear you.
My struggle is solitude. While I love my time, I still crave that human interaction. I like to talk. I miss coaching.
Sometimes you talk too much shit.
And I talk too much shit sometimes. You're absolutely right. Listen, I'm very self-aware of a lot of things. I am not perfect by no means of the imagination.
Like me, sometimes I talk and I don't even know what I'm saying.
So, yeah, but I miss the coaching, and God willing, I'm going to get into some type of sport down here and get back into that mentoring aspect that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I told you about the whole church thing and volunteering, and the pastor was like, we could definitely need someone to be a mentor to the youth of the county. And I was like, I'm definitely would like to be involved in that, any way I can.
And that's just from one phone call.
That's one email, one phone call, and that's this is how I cope. That's my self-therapy. I take my energy and my positive energy and give and spread it to everybody else, that I interact with. I've been more cognizant of how I speak to just people in general and smiling and saying, have a great day, God bless, good morning, how are you? That makes such a difference to so many people. You know, and it's, you know, we've had friends that I know I have had people that reached out to me and it's like, no, thank you for the post that you put up. Thank you for, you know, some of the messages that I've put up in the past. And even starting this podcast, we've gotten, you know, people that said, you know, this is great because, you know, this is an outlet. Like, we can be the voices for so many. And if that's what, you know, what we are, we're that muse, that's where it comes from, then that's fantastic. You know, God has a purpose for all of us. It's just we have to pay attention to the signs.
God or your higher power.
Or your higher power.
We may have listeners.
Whoever it is that you, you know, find exalted or whatever it is, you know, and I tend to not say God.
Higher power.
I
say
know.
higher power.
I usually speak in the facet of the universe is speaking to you. As you know, the universe was created somehow, some way. Unless you believe in the Big Bang theory,
what you put out there
is what you give back.
Is what comes back. You know,
I'm a big proponent of that karma, intentions, how what you manifest.
Put your intentions out there. You know, like work with them, and see yourself. It's funny that we had that conversation earlier today. See yourself doing what you're doing mentally. Meditate. See yourself what you're doing mentally. You know, and work with that. Work with that. I do that often. I write often. Reading a lot of positive books. I'm more of a mystery, law, crime type of reader, but I've been gearing towards self-help books that have been great. And I know that there are times we're all going through it. I don't think there's one person out there that's not going through it.
In some fashion.
Oh, in different
Absolutely.
fashions. Yeah, in different fashions.
I'm exhausted. Like I am
It's
honestly
exhausting.
I am it's a sense of relief, but I am so exhausted because there's so much going through me right now. Because, you know, me speaking my piece, I have to relive all those times. I have to relive that timeline, and I can see that it's still so affecting, even at this time.
I am right now. Someone said that I can share the books and recommend. Yeah, absolutely. I've been, like I said, I think it was a week ago. I've been reading Life is Messy by Matthew Kelly, and haven't been able to get to the end because I do not want to get to the end.
You need to get to the end because you need to, so I can read it.
I'll get you a book. But I'm going to read you an excerpt of that book right now. And it's the first page. It says, life is messy. Life isn't a color within the lines exercise. It's a wild and outrageous invitation full of uncertain outcomes. Sometimes it is beautifully rational. At other times, it lacks all logic. What appears to be a step back today may turn out to be the first marvelous step forward 10 years from now. In that paragraph, you know, what I got out of it, what appears to be a step back today may turn out to be the first marvelous step forward 10 years from now. And it's always about that hindsight, right? You ask and you question, why now? Why is this happening to me? Why did this occur? Why did I lose my job? Why did I lose my apartment? Why did I lose my partner in life? Why don't I have enough money? 10 years from now, you look back.
In retrospect.
And that, yeah, in that hindsight. That's why I call it always in that hindsight. And then you see why. And it may not be 10 years. It could be a month, 2 months, 3 months, but you see why. And when you see that why and it all makes sense to you, And within the time where you're trying to make sense of it, you're driving yourself absolutely bananas, right? Because you're craving the answers. You want the reasoning, you want the understanding, and you're not getting for it. So you're gonna grasp and you're gonna claw through it. And you even could bring yourself to the lowest of the lowest.
You even start making up a completely
Oh
different
yeah,
story
you start
and
imagining
assuming and imagining and
you start making up
reality
your own.
is not reality anymore.
Absolutely. But then when you're in that phase, right, that acceptance phase, past the grieving,
The why hit
stage.
you. The why hit you, and you never see it coming.
right, absolutely. And then the next couple of paragraphs down, it says, "There's no plan you can devise that will solve the mess. There is nothing you can buy, learn, or accomplish that will eliminate the mess. Finding the love of your life and the perfect career won't either. There is nothing you can start doing or stop doing that will eradicate the mess. There's nothing you can tell yourself that will make the mess magically disappear, and you cannot think your way out of it. The mess is here to stay. It's unavoidable. It's just life. And this is what we live.
It's messy.
This is what we live. It's messy.
There is no perfect time. Life isn't perfect.
Right.
There is no such thing as that.
Right.
We have to, and like I said, time is gonna go on with if you stay still, you stay in bed, you do nothing, or you move forward. Time is gonna go on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of you have to be self-aware of things. It's I mean we're talking about it, but we're giving examples of our own personal experience, so it can give you the context. We're not reading it from a book.
Right.
You know, it's our own personal experiences. What I'm feeling like, I'm exhausted right now because I had so much emotion and that I let go, but I have so much still in. She still is struggling, and it's a struggle every single day.
And I smile, right? I smile and I have my affirmations. I have my positive inspirations. Like I try to keep myself on that level, yet I'm still where I am. And amongst all that is that I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So that's my main thing. I'm blessed.
I'm grateful for what you do have.
I'm grateful. As much as my husband's a pain in my ass, he's the most understanding man when it comes to like my craziness. And I call it craziness.
Super mega producer.
Yeah, super mega producer. I call it craziness because it's not even about a mood change. It's just a sudden drop. And the fact that I can't even explain where this sudden drop is coming from and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, that's where my mind is messed up, because I don't even know why. Right? And I'm not comparing. I'm not trying to compare situations here, but I say to myself, what Nelson experienced, I haven't experienced, right? So I shouldn't even feel the way I'm feeling.
That's not the case.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, everybody's struggle is equal across the board, but at the end of the day, I still feel like, damn, look at what he's going through. What I'm going through is nothing. But then again, I don't even know what the hell's wrong with me to begin with. I know I'm on a medication. I know I feel a certain type of way. I know there's times I don't feel a certain type of way, but I know I still have to push.
Right.
I still have to push.
What I've learned from your situation has been that, and until I experience what I experienced.
Pause. Why we got a I powwow. I thought I have glasses on, as you can
And
see.
she still can't see the big ass screen.
Virginia, I swear, I thought you said we need
Shaking my head.
we need to pow. I was like, she wants to give me pow. I'm like, why she wants to give me pow? What did I do wrong? My bad. Carlos, we love you too. Sorry about that. Go
What
ahead.
I've learned, and until I was actually self-aware of what I was going through, I didn't have an inkling of an understanding of what you were going through. And while we had different circumstances, I am now able to understand. And while sometimes I'll be a pain in the ass, yo, we gotta go. Or if I'm here, I walk in the house and, yo, Ben, where's I can't reach you. So I call him. I know where he's gonna be. He's gonna be in the studio making hits. And I come to the house and you're in bed. And I've learned to pause, engage you, because I can't be that rah-rah. I don't even know if I can still be that rah-rah. But I gauge you. I get a sense of how you're feeling. Like I said, you have good days, bad days, worse days. And I take it from there. If I get the sense that you need to be left alone, I leave you alone. And I go about my business.
Leaves me alone in my own house.
I go about my business in the house. Ben and me do what we got to do. Go in the studio, help him out, make some hits, and make some beats. You know, work on the merchandising and things of that nature, and I leave you alone.
By the way, that's a nice shirt.
It is a nice shirt. It's a beautiful shirt. Excellent.
No, my dad has a joke with me. This is a fun fact. My dad has a joke with me because when I leave my office and when I leave my bedroom, I go downstairs and I sit in the same spot. I think there are plenty of people out there that can attest who have come to my house and seen me in that same spot all the time, whether it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still in the same spot. And so my dad, he often sees me, of course, in that same spot.
I called her Sheldon, so if you guys know the Big Bang Theory, she has a spot.
Well, papi said, quítate la pega de gorila de ese culo y salte esa silla. Translation, take off the gorilla glue from your ass and get up out of that chair. But, you know, it is what it is. And I'm not ashamed to say it because it's not about being lazy. It's not about lack of motivation. It's about my chemical imbalance, and it's a struggle.
For you, it's a chemical imbalance.
For me.
Well, partially.
For me.
I think
Yeah, for me.
other aspects of life in general have contributed to that, but you have medically been diagnosed with a chemical imbalance.
Correct, medically. And here's the thing that I've asked my doctor, wean me off because I want to know what normal feels like, right? Because if my medication is, it's 24 hours. So if I don't take it within the 24-hour period, I literally get brain zaps. My brain is like, zzz, zzz. I mean, it's horrible. It's the worst thing in the world to experience. So I have to keep taking it. And I asked my doctor to wean me off. And
I wouldn't make a joke about that, but
well, my doctor did. He said, "You're not
Like-
ready to be alone." I was like, "Really? Thanks.
like
Good job."
I would like to see. Oh, I would like to feel what it is to get your brain zapped. But I don't know if that's actually appropriate.
It's hard. It's the worst thing in the world. The brain zaps. I swear to God, you're living and it's like you hear it.
It's like you have a bee in your ear.
Yeah. So now I'm scared because 24 hours comes and I'm not. You know, I haven't taken it. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, and then here it was. I was taking that medication. So if I would go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was taking it at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I couldn't wake up in the morning.
Got you groggy, kept you.
Well, because I just didn't know that I was taking it.
Oh, you were taking it incorrectly.
I was taking it whenever I
So
wanted.
to
So my
work
doctor
effectively.
said, yeah. So I'm like, why do I feel so exhausted in the morning? You know? And then he said, why don't you try taking it earlier? Because by the time it kicks in, you know,
That's a hell of a waiting period from the moment you ingest that pill to the effects. But I can understand that because the pill is supposed to last a certain time period. It takes a certain time period for it to get into your body and do what it has to do.
Yeah, and it's tough. But the one thing that I can say is that regardless of what my mental state is, and I would say my emotional state at times, and when I say emotional, I don't mean that I'm crying or anything like that, but
You're in your feelings.
when I'm in my feelings, I
I know that feeling of being in your feelings.
the one thing that I know is that if I get a phone call, if someone needs me, and that it's okay, it's okay, I'm there. I could snap out of that like this. Now, if I'm not out, I literally have told people I cannot function right now. I cannot be here for you right now. I will leave messages unread, not purposefully, but because I'm not ready to respond.
But no one's obligated to. No one's obligated.
No, but
to.
I respect those that understand that. I appreciate those that understand that, because it's not that I don't want to speak to anyone or reach out to someone, but you know, I want to be in a good space. I don't like my negative energy at the time. That's how I describe it, to be thrust upon somebody else. I don't think that's no one should do that.
Yeah, that's why we need to be kind. Is once we're kind, we're understanding, and once we're understanding, we can empathize and have compassion and sympathize with people. And that's a lost art. Like it's that we're not born with that. That's a skill. You have to learn that. That's something you have to practice. And I don't know why people just don't take that initiative of being that way.
So let's address some of these comments here. Virginia, you put here, Virginia Arroyo on Facebook, my health does allow me to get back to a normal life that I would like to achieve. Virginia, God bless you 150%, because
absolutely. She is a warrior queen.
Your struggle is physical, emotional, mental. And I'm not putting out there because I'm putting your business out there. Many who know you know your situation, but you've remained a warrior. You've remained a warrior, and I know that it's easier for me to say that, for you to believe it, but you have remained a warrior. I am praying for you every second. It's not even every hour, but every second. And
Indeed.
I know that when the time comes, we're going to live it up. We're taking that trip to Puerto Rico. We're going to party our asses off.
Puerto Rico?
You're not invited.
Damn.
You're not invited.
Super mega producer, I know how you feel now.
You're not invited.
Where are we going?
I'm going to the studio.
But yeah, and even with your struggle, you do your best to try to live your normal life by doing the things that you love to do, with selling your jewelry and your business as well. Okay, so much love. If there's anyone else who wants to chime in, comment, express anything,
or if you don't want to do it now, you can DM us.
DM us. DM us. I'm really good with DMing. If any of you have my number, feel free to reach out. And again, we're jumping into the ocean naked. I'm with you. I'm with you.
It'll be the first time.
Oh, my husband says it's not going to be the first time. You're going way back in the days. Those are those good days. But yeah, it's live. Let's live. Let's love. Let's laugh. Right?
Oh, let's love. Let's love. Let's love yourself. Love each other. When we do that, we laugh. We just we're always laughing. We're always cracking jokes. Laughter is just so important. If a person can't laugh, don't bring that positive energy. And once you have those two, then you can live. You live every day. You live every day with laughter and love. That's the best advice we have for you. And everything else, the universe will take care of itself. And and then just move over and live the best life that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Life is hard, and yes, it is beautiful. It is beautiful.
Live, love, and laugh in spite of what life throws at you.
Yeah.
Even though it might be difficult, continue to live and love. We can't forget that. We can't forget ourselves in what life throws at you, or what people throw at you. So it's very imperative.
And one other thing, Nell hit the topic of losing his dad, right? And we all are guilty.
That wasn't even the topic. That was the catalyst to what I'm going through now.
We all have issues with our loved ones in one shape or form, right? And we get so angry that we forget life is short. And we forget to forgive. And it's not to forgive to mend, but forgive to heal. So if there is that person out there that has hurt you or you have hurt, make peace with them. Because once they're not here and you can't say what you want to say,
regrets are the worst.
That will remain, at least personally for me, it would remain heavy on my mind and in my heart.
And it's something, I believe that's one of the aspects that you can never, once a person is not here, or you can't undo that. Mm-hmm. You can't take back what you said.
Oh, you stay with your last memory.
Right.
You stay with your last memory. And that is real hard. I remember when I lost my uncle, Indio, may he rest in peace. My mom called me up and she said, listen, put minutes on your uncle. That was the time we had to pay for minutes on people's phones. Put minutes on your uncle's phone. And I was going through some personal issues at the time, and I was like, I can't today. And the next day I woke up to a voicemail, because I also had turned off my cell phone. I woke up to a voicemail of a man screaming in my phone that my uncle was dying. And it hurts because I'm like, I could have spoken to my uncle
the day before.
Mm-hmm. The day before, and I never got to tell him one last time, I love you, so it hurts. It hurts. So just, think about that as well, especially with COVID. I think COVID, it may have its cons, but one of the pros is that we got to spend time with our families, We
got to know who really is real.
That's true. One of the things that I'm trying to do in my house, and I think a lot of you may see it often, is that we play games, a lot of board games that I didn't really, I played with when I was younger, but not that much. But board games, try to do things different and not be on the phone so much so that we can have conversations, because that's another thing that we're missing is conversation. There's a lot of times that you'll see memes of gatherings and everyone's on their phone and no one is interacting with each other. And I think we need to get back to that. We really need to get back to
human connection.
That human connection. And I'm guilty of it because there's times that Ben is in the studio and I'm in the living room feet away and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to text him and we're going to have a conversation via text. When we can have a one-on-one conversation. So, keep that in mind as well, that if we're back into isolation at some point, God forbid not, but even with the limitations that we have now, engage, but engage in a non-technological manner, write letters. Remember when we used to write letters in school and exchange them? Oh my God. I had a friend in high school that every day we exchanged a letter.
That was a very, very long time ago.
Do you know you're older than I am? You're older than I am. So yeah, this is where we are. This is life. This is the struggle. This is real. This is real. on that note,
Yeah, because
signing out. We were supposed to finish this in an hour, and it is an hour and a half.
No, it's not. It's longer than that. We're at
2 hours. You see that, and that is why I don't do math. This is why I don't do math. If anybody wants to chime in, anybody wants to say anything,
Just DM us, send us
DM us. So
send
any
us
last minute
messages.
comments, just remember, share, follow.
Subscribe.
There's no subscribe.
Oh, well,
it's share, follow, like. Oh, YouTube. Yeah, we have our YouTube subscription page.
It'll be coming up soon. So
yeah, we're putting that up.
So
yeah, and today was deep. Not all our not every week is going to be as deep, but we promised we promised that we were going to be transparent, and the veils are coming off.
I figured it was the best, and this was the best way, I guess, to just the word transparency, and I needed to take that veil, even if it was for these 2 hours, and just expose myself, and I thank you very much.
Listen, you expose yourself to the utmost.
So
expose yourself to the utmost, and for those, with all due respect, who still will have this misperception that this is not as real as it can get, F you and the horse you rode on. Period. Point blank. End the story. Sorry, not sorry.
So thank you very much for everyone for tuning in.
Next week is accountability.
Is it?
Next week is accountability.
We've decided already. Okay.
It is accountability.
Nah, I don't know.
A punishment. Accountability. Accountability. Think about that.
Papi, I love you.
Think about that word. Think about that word and put it in context. Accountability. And like DM us so that we can hit some of your topics on that word or anything you want us to touch on, so that we can talk about it. Because again, this is a two-way street. This is not just about us. We are shedding ourselves slowly.
Very interactive, and hopefully you guys will shed some of those layers of skin that we've developed over the years, and we can get back to being actual human beings with each other.
Yeah. And anonymity is something. Did I say that word right?
I don't know.
Well,
I can't even spell it.
Anonymity, yeah, it's just anonymous. That's something that, if you don't want your name to be shot out there, your real name nor your screen name, feel free, let us know, so we'll respect your wishes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Stay blessed.
Have a great week. Yes. If anyone needs a listening ear, a hand to hold, a time to cry, you can feel free to reach out to us.
Absolutely.
You have our
open
numbers.
Doors, and especially I've always had open doors and open arms. So we follow that rule.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. And feedback.
Yes.
Feedback is good. Feedback is good. Constructive criticism. We're always here to hear that as well.
And as always, we leave you with always love, laugh, and live. All right.
Bye.
Stay blessed, everyone.